Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today, we're going to be talking about Will Byers in the Stranger Things Season 5 trailer and Stranger Things Season 5 in general. I'm going to talk about a few different scenes that I thought were very interesting that happened in the trailer about a week ago. I haven't made a video since the trailer breakdown, so I have a lot to get off my chest. I did title it, I don't even know what I titled it, but the thumbnail says theory. It's more or less like multiple theories and just talking about Will Byers' character and what direction I think his character is going to go in. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy this video. So before we get into it, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord down below. And yeah, guys, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, shout out to Wheeler Coded on Twitter who pointed this out. These are two frames from the trailer. This is going to be the first thing that we talk about regarding the Will Byers thing, and there's a lot to talk about, okay? So obviously Will Byers is not in this frame, so it may seem irrelevant, but this is actually very relevant because right here we see Vecna blocking fire. Now, most likely that fire is a flamethrower, okay? Obviously, that is without question, but there is a theory that, you know, in season 1, I'm rewatching season 1 right now, and I've heard Will say fireball probably 10 different times, so I'm just throwing it out there. Will is in this frame, okay? Let's describe the frames real quick, okay? So the reason that this is important, these arrows are here, and this person pointed this out, is because this is the same frame. This is the same shot, and how do we know that? Well, the sign up here where the arrow is pointing is also the sign over here where the arrow is pointing. So if Mike is still back here next to the sign, that means Mike is behind this fire. The fire is going towards Vecna, and they're all right here, okay? And the interesting part about the fire part is that, obviously, like I said, it's most popularly a flamethrower, but if there's any chance that Will Byers can throw a damn fireball, this would be the scene, okay? Because he is in this frame. And how do I know that? Well, look at what Mike's wearing, okay? The collar and everything, the color of the jacket, and look at this girl. Same hairstyle and glasses as this picture right here, okay? Here's the girl. Here's Mike. Same jacket, same everything. And then here he is again, okay? So I believe that that's the same frame. And another thing to point out, let's go back to this, is that Will is in this frame. This is Will crying on Joyce's shoulder, or like tired or whatever. And there was also a scene in the trailer or in the Netflix 7 teaser of Will on the ground, like passed out. So either he passed out from the sensitivity of Vecna, passed out from using powers, whatever. Regardless, the whole point of me yapping about this is that Will is in this scene where they are fighting Vecna, and he is tired from sensitivity or powers or use of powers or something. So I made that theory on TikTok saying that if Will does or can throw fireballs, he's throwing a damn fireball right here. Do I know for sure that he's doing that? No. Do I think he's doing that? No. I think it's a flamethrower, but I just wanted to point that out. If by chance, even if it's a 1% chance, that would be freaking awesome right there. Will throwing a fireball at Vecna and Vecna blocking it. I don't think that's happening. I think it's a flamethrower, but I think that's definitely worth pointing out. And it's obviously worth pointing out that the kids, including Will, including Derek, including the new girl who we don't know her name yet, and Joyce, are all behind this line of fire, most likely, because it's like the same frame. So I feel like that is very important to note as well. And yeah, everyone's going to be in danger in season 5, goes without saying. But yeah, that's pretty freaking cool if you ask me. Okay, here's another thing that people pointed out about Will Byers, and this actually has to do with the teaser poster that Ross Duffer posted on Instagram, and it was obviously half of Vecna's face and everything. And someone, well, I'm assuming it's this person, Stranger Things _updates on Instagram, morphed Will's face from one of the frames in the trailer and lined it up with Vecna, and I mean, you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at. It looks pretty freaking like morphed together. Like, it looks good. You know, it looks, obviously Photoshop can do a lot of things, but I mean, I thought that was a very interesting put together by that person. You know, regardless of what it means, I think it's a cool edit in the first place. But it kind of goes along with my theory that I made a few like a week ago or so about Will Byers like taking over the Upside Down. Because basically in that theory, you guys have to watch that theory. You can skip all the other videos on my channel. That theory is effing amazing. Okay, I'm gonna show what the thumbnail looks like. Go look it up, watch it. So basically in this theory, to sum it up in 30 seconds, is I basically explain how Will Byers is the good version of Vecna, and what if Will Byers, instead of sacrificing his life and dying, just takes over the Upside Down because he has powers in it, because he has like the connection with the Mind Flayer and everything, and he can control and manipulate the Upside Down just like Vecna. But after they kill Vecna, in order to stop all the creatures from the Upside Down going into the real world, Will goes into the Upside Down, closes the gate from the inside, and makes the Upside Down like a good place, and he basically takes Vecna's spot as the king or throne leader of the Upside Down and makes it like a good place, and saves everyone and prevents any of the creatures from the Upside Down going into the real world. Not necessarily turning into a bad guy, actually just replacing a bad guy with a good guy, Will Byers replacing Vecna, and preventing the Upside Down from getting any worse. So that's sort of what this picture reminded me of, is that they morphed him into Vecna, and you know, like Henry Creel and Will Byers as children are so similar. They were both sensitive, they were both artists, they were both this, they were both that. Victor Creel and Joyce Byers talked about that. It just makes so much sense. That theory makes so much sense in my mind. And this kind of just reminded me of that theory, and I think it's really, really cool. There's a few other things I want to talk about. I'm going to go into the trailer and go to the frames of Will Byers, and I'm just going to explain stuff that I think is noteworthy because, like we already said, I've already mentioned Will throwing fireballs. I've already mentioned Will taking the Upside Down, Will being Vecna or whatever the hell this is, Will being in the line of fire. There's other scenes in the Stranger Things 5 trailer that I think are just very, very noteworthy. Okay, this was the first scene that Will Byers appeared in, and it was pretty much the only scene where he's even somewhat normal, and even he doesn't look normal here. Granted, like Nancy, Robin, and Eleven all look concerned or whatever, but look at him. He's already like, oh shit, this is gonna be a rough season for me. You know, I'm assuming this is like in one of the earlier seasons. Like he already doesn't look good, but this is the most normal frame of the entire damn trailer of Will Byers, and it goes back to him again, and look at him. Like Eleven's looking at him like, are you okay? And he just looks terrified. And then the very next frame that he's in, the lights are flickering, and this guy's passing out. He's literally passing out as we speak, or as I speak right now. Nancy, Eleven, and Robin all looking around, very awake and aware, and this guy is just standing still with his eyes rolling back in his head. Like, the scenes of Will Byers in this trailer, every single one of them screams, this guy is, you know what? He is screwed. He is as screwed as you could possibly be when it comes to a final season in television, okay? That's what every single scene screamed of. And then the scene after this, right here, is him holding his damn neck with chills. We're 30 seconds in. He's had 4 different frames or whatever it's been, and every single one of them is extremely concerning, okay? I know this isn't like really like theories, but just let me keep talking about this. It's all gonna, you know, we're all gonna, at the end of it, be like, holy shit, if Will Byers doesn't die, it's gonna be a miracle. Okay, this is a normal scene of him with the boys, you know. This is like the only normal scene though. That's like the only normal scene. Like, if this is Will Byers, which we can all agree it probably is, right? I don't know who else it would be. I think it's him escaping the Demogorgon in his flashbacks. Another weird scene that most probably explains his powers in the Upside Down, because I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a scientist. Like, nobody can explain a child of this size and age being able to climb a 50-foot tree, jump away from a 9-foot monster, and float in the air that long without having some sort of abilities. Like, it's not physically possible, correct? Let me know if I'm crazy saying that, but that's another scene of potentially Will Byers escaping the Demogorgon. And this is where he's passing out. Remember when I said he's standing there, eyes rolling back, passing out? This is him passing out in the same room, onto the concrete floor. And his head hits. That's scary. You see that? Ow. So, yeah. The next scene, him passing out. And he passes out twice in this trailer. Okay, this is the frame that they took to morph him into Vecna. This frame right here, which I think is really cool. But a lot of things that TV shows do as well, to like foreshadow certain things, is lighting, you know? Obviously, you guys know this. I'm not some sort of, whatever, genie. But like, look, half of his face is lit up, half of it's dark. I wonder if that means anything, you know? he has two sides, and one side's going to be brought out again. You know, we're going to see both dark Will and light Will. Like, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, is this hinting at him going back to the darkness or him dying? It could be a foreshadow of a lot of things, but I don't think that's done unintentionally. Half of his face is in the dark and half of it's in the light. You know, I don't think that's done unintentionally. So, but he passes out here again, which is just like, how do you have one character pass out twice in a 2-minute trailer when he has 10 scenes? You know what I'm saying? How do you expect me to watch that and not make an entire video yapping about Will Byers' theories and how he's going to have powers and how he's probably going to die and how if he doesn't die, it's going to be insane? So I just felt an obligation to talk about this because this is just insane. And he's crying and he's passing out, like, all of it. He's sweating. Unbelievable. I think that's the only scenes he had. But also, Vecna saying, "I found you," was 1000% directed towards Will Byers. So essentially, this entire video is just me elaborating and explaining, like I just said. Number one, every single scene in the Stranger Things trailer with Will Byers in it was very weird, mysterious, and every other one was like, yeah, there was like scary scenes with other characters and everything, but the other characters were acting normal. You know, they were scared, they were running, they were doing normal things in that situation. But with Will, it was, you know, he's holding his neck again, he's passing out twice, he's looking weird, you know? So it was just very weird. And then we have that picture that I brought up about the fire, and he's behind there. Like, is that a fireball? What is that? And then they're morphing him into Vecna. Like, is Will gonna have the dark side? Is he gonna take Vecna's side for a little bit? Is he gonna get possessed again? You know, who knows? Like, this is what I'm talking about. This could lead into so many different possibilities. But I just wanted to make this video talking about how important Will Byers' character is going to be in season 5, and that actually isn't the only thing that I found. Shout out to whoever made this on Twitter, but I posted a video about this. It was actually the Stranger Things meme page. Give me 1 second. Everything they've done with Will Byers' character is hinting at him being the main character in season 5, and the Duffers have already mentioned that, but this is 100% confirmed. So this is the Stranger Things season 1 teaser poster, and obviously it's Dustin, Lucas, Eleven, and Mike, and Will is nowhere to be found, and all their lights are on, by the way. Keep that in mind. But with this one, for the season 5 trailer, we have Dustin, Lucas, Eleven, and Mike, same here, and then Will is in front. Will's lights on and Dustin's lights on as well, which is very scary. But Will is leading here and Will is missing up here. So it's just little things that they've done. And I really do think we're going to watch season 5 and we're going to look back and be like, holy shit, Will Byers was the main character the entire time. Like, this has all been about Will Byers. Like, obviously it's been about Will Byers. You know, he got taken everything and led to all this, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like Eleven's felt like the main character, you know, the whole time. Maybe she'll end up still being the main character. But I feel like by the end of season 5, we're going to be like, oh my God, like this is what we were waiting for. His screen time sort of went down in season 4. He wasn't as impactful, but we're finally going to dive back into his backstory, hopefully, and see him how he escaped the Demogorgon in season 1. And I mean, if this guy has powers, oh my God, I would not be surprised because of how many hints they've shown. But if he has powers, you best believe I'm coming on the internet and I'm yapping about it for an hour, bragging and celebrating and just living life. But that's pretty much the video. It was a whole entire yap session just floating around every different possibility, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really didn't know what to title this video, what to make the thumbnail. I just wanted to let you guys know that everything they're telling me about Will Byers is telling me that he's going to be the main character, potentially with powers, and he's probably going to die, because that's what it looks like in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. If you think I'm crazy, if you think I'm overreacting to these scenes. Like, to me, it's just screaming Will Byers, main character, dying, powers, something, you know, sacrifice. I don't know. It's just screaming something's going to happen to Will Byers. Something profound and supernatural that we can't explain and we can't even imagine. That's what I'm seeing from all these hints. But let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or theories or predictions in the comments, let me know down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.